Ever had that gut feeling that your financial advisor might not be doing much, but you're not sure how to tell? Well, let me tell you what happened to me. I remember sitting virtually across from our financial advisor reviewing our investments, and I asked a simple question. So, what returns did we get this year? He looked at me and said, about 1%. 1%, okay? Now, I'm not unrealistic. I don't expect miracles. But if you're paying thousands of dollars for professional money management, you expect more than a glorified savings account. And to be honest, savings accounts were returning more than 1% in the last year. But right now, we're not achieving that. And this has been over years that we have been investing with you all. And honestly, none of our other accounts are performing as poorly as this one. My question is, why am I paying you to perform less than what I can do myself and put it on autopilot? It makes no sense. So when I pushed for the details, he replied, "Let me check with the investment team." That's when I realized the person I trusted with our financial future wasn't even managing our money. So today, let's break down how to vet a financial advisor, what red flags to watch for, and when you might be ready to ditch them altogether and manage your money yourself. Because the truth is if you know the questions to ask, you might not need to ask them at all. And the first thing that you want to realize when you're vetting a financial advisor is that you want to choose fee only, not fee based. This one trips people up all the time because the terms sound so similar, but they are completely different. Fee only advisors charge you directly for their advice. It's like a personal trainer, right? You pay them for their guidance. A fee-based advisor gets paid by you, but they also earn commissions on the products that they sell you. So it's like hiring that personal trainer that says you need this $80 protein powder, but they get a cut every time you buy a tub. So you always want to ask, are you fee only or are you fee based? And you want fee only. Otherwise, their advice could be driven by sales incentives and not your best interest. The next thing that you want to ask is, who do I call when I have questions? And this might sound obvious, but in many firms, the person you meet with isn't the person managing your portfolio. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you have a host that sells you on the chef's special, but they're not actually the person who's cooking it and can tell you all the ingredients. Most of the time, the person who's managing your portfolio is a stranger that you haven't even met. So you want to ask, who's my main point of contact? Who's making the investment decisions? And you deserve transparency and access, not the middleman who can't answer your questions. And that was the case with this financial advisor who I was recently working with. He was not the person who was making the financial decisions to manage my portfolio. So he couldn't give me the responses that I desired when I had questions. And another thing that I realized is that the way that the portfolio was invested was broad, was diversified, but was also with high expenses. So you want to ask, how do you manage investment cost? Expenses eat into your returns. Period. Imagine filling up that bathtub. You got all the money. You're putting in your income, but then there's a leak. There's a leak of coins that constantly come out every single hour. That leak is your investment fees. It's not only the 1% that you may pay them of assets under management, but it's also the products that they're purchasing. And when you think about it, even a small one could equate to thousands over time. So you definitely want to ask this advisor is, are you using high cost active managed funds? And not only asking that specific question, but asking them what type of funds, what are the expense ratios of some of the funds that you typically advise clients to invest in or you typically choose for clients. And another question that is so important is, how do you minimize client fees? Because they don't have to pay them, you do. And so they may not be thinking about how to minimize fees for you so that you can have the greatest returns on your investment. And please, when you're talking to them about what their fees are, because I don't know about you, but I don't work for free and these financial advisors don't either. So when they tell you that my advice is free, that just means that you're paying for it somewhere else. And that payment is probably through hidden commission fees. Now, this question is one that they may be taken aback by, but trust me, it is really imperative that you ask this question. And that is, can I see a sample portfolio? It's a good one because it's like test driving a car before you buy it. You want to know, is this portfolio diversified? Is it aligned with my risk tolerance and my goals? Or is it loaded with unnecessary complexity and unnecessary fees? You don't need 47 different funds just to be diversified, right? Sometimes that's just dressing up underperformance with distractions. And trust me, this is exactly where I was. When I was speaking with a financial advisor, I'm like, why are you invested so broadly when we have these goals?
And then the second thing is when I was looking through, I understand that we are paying you all 1% of assets under management. And looking through at how it is being invested, it seems like it is very diversified, which that's one question is why is it so diversified? Some of the expense ratios for some of the mutual funds that are being invested in are upwards of 85 basis points. That is eroding the gains. So understanding your strategy, understanding the balance, and what are you all intending for this account if you have any ideas on projections.
And sometimes they are unable to explain it because this is just what they do. But that is unnecessary in order for you to perform well. Remember, I highlighted in past videos about how S&P 500 performance compared to active management, and the market has outperformed active management over decades, at least 50% of the time. So if you're going to be flipping a coin, right, you might as well do it yourself and save on the investment fees. Now, I'm not negative, don't use a financial advisor, but you just want to ensure that they are working for you and they are managing those fees, and they can give you an explanation about their management and how they choose and create portfolios for their clients. And that's a great segue to the next question, which is, how did I perform, or how do your clients perform compared to the market, or whatever your target is or their target is? So this is where many advisors hide the ball. It's a simple question, right? It should be, but the responses that I often get is a masterclass in tap dancing. He immediately, when I was talking to my financial advisor, started talking about the tax benefits and how they help protect me from market volatility, and how performance shouldn't be measured just against the S&P 500. Honestly, it was very frustrating, especially because I knew better. And I had to literally pause and apologize because my tone was getting sharp.
Let me apologize because I feel like my heated emotion is coming out a little bit more because I'm like, yeah, underperforming, I'm paying you for 1% and I'm getting this. And so let me take a deep breath, and let me also apologize for the delivery of that message, because I don't want it to come off as abrasive as I think it just came off. And while I am apologizing, I don't want to negate the message that I'm hoping to communicate is, how can we reach this objective, because we're not there and we haven't been there.
I was upset, not just because of the answer, but because it felt like he was talking down to me. But here's the thing. They don't expect you to ask these kind of questions. And when you do, it shifts the power dynamic. They start defending and you start learning. So remember to ask the questions, and ask them in a way that feels like you're curious instead of you're frustrated, which is exactly where I was when I was having this conversation. So I just want to share with you some insider perspective of what I typically hear when I ask, how do you compare to market performance? And this is a line that I've heard over and over again. Now, we don't work with too many financial advisors, but I've interviewed a ton of them in order to vet them, because sometimes, as I will mention later on, you just kind of want to have out of sight, not necessarily out of mind, but you don't want to be doing all of the things and talking to all of the people in order to have have this portion of your portfolio managed. And this financial advisor was really working for tax savings for us. However, we still expected it to have specific returns because it is an investment. So when you ask this question, it is imperative that you can anticipate this response, and that will help you formulate your next question. So here's what I hear. Well, we hope to protect you against the market's ups and downs. While you may not get the same gains, you are being shielded from losses. And it sounds logical, but here's the deal. If they're going to use that as their argument, they need to be able to show you the data. If they're claiming that your portfolio is in fact more protected, they should clearly break down what percentage of your money is in bonds, less risky, lower returns, what percentage of your money is in stocks, higher risk, higher returns. Because if your portfolio is underperforming and they can't explain why, that's a red flag. I just want to take a break from this discussion, and I want to invite you. If you are a woman in healthcare and this is hitting a little too close to home for you, if you don't feel confident investing on your own yet, but you are seriously considering letting go of your advisor, I want to invite you to set up a call with me, because I coach women just like you. I coach them through investing simply and clearly so you can manage your finances confidently and finally feel in control of your financial future. Click the link in the description to schedule a call with me. Now, I just want to take this conversation in a different direction, because not all financial advisors are bad. We talked about really hiring your fee only instead of fee-based financial advisors. And I want to share with you when to keep an advisor and when to let them go. So let me be clear. I am not anti-advisor. When we opened up our cash balance plan, a complex retirement tool, we needed one. It required coordination between the actuary, a CPA, and the advisor. And at that time, I wasn't confident or experienced enough to handle it on my own. So they added value. They bought back my time, and that mattered. But as we grew in knowledge and confidence and financial clarity, I realized something. If I can vet you well enough to hire you, I may not need you at all. So if you want to ensure that your current financial advisor is really working on your behalf, or you want to vet a new one, I have created a checklist for you that includes 15 questions to ask your financial advisor. This is a free checklist to help you ask the right questions and ensure you're getting the best advice. This checklist has all the questions mentioned in this video, plus more, because I want to prevent you from hiring the wrong advisor like I did. So download it now to make sure that you are working with someone who has your best interest in mind, literally and figuratively. Click the link in the description to get the checklist today. So let's take a moment and recap the questions that we discussed in this video. The first is, are you fee only or are you fee based? 2, who's the main point of contact? Who is the person that I'm talking to? 3, who makes the investment decisions? Number 4, how do you minimize expenses? 5, can I see a sample portfolio? 6, if you're working with someone that you've worked with for a while, you want to ask, what was my return? And how did it compare to the market? Working with a financial advisor is like flying with a co-pilot. But if your co-pilot is asleep and you know how to fly, maybe it is time to take control. If this video gave you confidence to ask better questions or fire a financial advisor who's not working well with you, then I want you to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're a woman in healthcare and you're ready to build wealth, ready to negotiate your salary and finally take control over your freedom, check out my coaching, because I help high income earners like yourself take back their time and grow their wealth with purpose. Remember, you got this, and I am here to help. And if you want my free checklist of the questions to ask your financial advisor, then check the link in the description so that you can get access to not just 6, but 15 questions to feel confident that you're getting the answers to make the right decision. Well, until next time, stay wealthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.